The last one that we'll go over today is sort of the mechanics of bracing and what is actually occurring more so for squatting and deadlifting.
And the coaching side.
And the coaching side of thing, maybe some like key cues that you might utilize or use for more of the top end strength expression. Yeah,
I think a lot of people just think, I'm going to take a big breath in and that's going to create pressure inside me. I'm going to hold that really tight and that's what's keeping me up. But they don't really...
It's not that far off.
Yeah, obviously there's a few more things happening in there. And
I think there's a few more things, but overall I think that the way I usually start this discussion is like, I don't know if in Australia you guys have those, at our used car sales lots in America, we have these inflatable guys that sort of like, do this thing.
We have a few.
You have a few of those as long as like, so if I turn the air all the way up on that thing, it just stands up and its arms are straight out to the side. I basically inhale it and I put it into a flexion, abduction, and externally rotated position everywhere. And that's kind of like if I put enough air into the system, air is this anti-gravitational piece that the organism has figured out. If I put air in, it'll make me stand up against gravity. And then if you exhale, it's kind of like taking air out of that inflatable guy, and he's still going to try to stay up. He just has to do it by compressing in one area so that it pops another area out so that it keeps him upright. So when we talk about like these strategies of expansion or compression, it's exactly that I'm talking about. Like air is expansive and muscles are basically compressive when they get concentric. So when you are trying to squat a ton of weight, like you're going to use both strategies as much as you possibly can. Like I'm going to put air into my system because it's going to maintain my buoyancy. I'm going to stay up, but then I need to use compression on top of that and squeeze like hell to create as much pressure as I possibly can. So it is going to be this situation of like, I'm going to bring in air and inhale, and then once it's time to go, I'm squeezing everything I can. I'm going to pressurize my system as hard as I can, and I'm kind of exhaling. It's just that I'm going to close the glottis and stop it.
That's how we teach it.
Yeah, but the action is still an exhale compression action.
Absolutely.
So I think that because I always like try to avoid like starting these discussions off with, hey, let's dive into the minutia and confuse everything with these tiny little pieces. Yeah. Like overall, like it's a strategy that's pretty damn effective from the standpoint of because load is going to try to destroy you and buckle you and send you straight into the ground. And you're doing everything you possibly can to, number one, prevent that from happening, but then to overcome it and actually move it in the opposite direction of the way gravity's trying to bring this thing. So, when it comes to the specifics of how I want to teach this stuff, typically, I think to myself, well, like, on this planet anyways, we're always going to be you'll never not be in an inhaled state to some degree. Impossible. Like your alveoli and your lungs will always have some air in them, no matter how hard you think you exhaled. So that's always going to be the case. And like if I'm going to fill something in very effectively, what's really good is to actually start off by kind of emptying it so that I can get a really good fill. And that's kind of what I want to do here is I want to get a really good exhale first. Like find your position that you want to be in for the lift, okay? And from here, don't lose height and really get rid of a lot of air.
This is obviously without a one arm on your back.
It's probably like maybe even when the bar is in the rack and I'm thinking about setting up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just like, I'm finding my body under it. It's a good time to do this.
Yeah.
Full exhale without losing any height. I feel everything compress. I feel everything come in. And then I'm going to inhale and not lose the good positioning that I got. And it's going to, so I'm thinking, like for me, I'm thinking about really kind of closing my ribs down with the exhale. And then with the inhale, I don't just want them to like fly right back out. I want to like keep those suckers glued in. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't want it to just be something that blows out and I lose this pressure that holds everything together in the midsection. I want to just inhale on top of that and feel like 360 degree expansion through the whole cage and almost feel like it's like blowing my pelvis out, like almost like the air is going down into the pelvis. And like it just grew, like everything grew and like feels like it's filled in every direction possible. Now I'm gonna brace on top of that.
This is where I think like the little breathing drills, whatever you want to call them, come really handy, because it gets you, it teaches what that feels like. It tells you what it feels like to get air back here, to get air here, to get air down here. Use that and then transfer it over.
Yeah. You know, I
it's
think
not like you're just doing that only under a 1RM.
100%. It'd be a terrible time to try to learn that.
Yeah.
You know, who learns at a 1RM? Like, you have to learn with all the little drills and then gradually apply these little chunks that you've learned into this big exercise. You know, but that is, to me, is an ideal way to set yourself up.
So I think the biggest take home from all that is don't change your shape. Use your exhale to cue your position you want to be in, and fight to keep that shape. Don't lose it. If you start to inhale and extend, or flare the ribs or whatever, you're moving into the wrong direction.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that you need to, like, I'm not going to go to a competition, get under the bar and be going through like all these little tiny steps in my head. No. It's something that I've done 1,000 times in the gym over and over and over, that it's almost like when I exhale to get my ribs down, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm good. I know what that is. I know what that feels like. My body knows how to do it.
Yeah.
So to
it's
repeat
a habit.
It's not that hard.
It's just a habit now. Like, you've done it a million times.
Yeah.
You know, the other people, I coach the sternum like crazy. You know, I always have people like, whatever it is, I'm thinking about aiming this thing straight ahead at the horizon. It's not like I'm not aiming it up and away into the stars, and I'm definitely not aiming it down towards my belly button. You know, it's level. It's straight ahead. And when I'm exhaling and prepping for my lift, that thing doesn't move.
Doesn't move, yeah.
And then when I inhale, it doesn't move in terms of the orientation up or down. It just grows forward towards, it's like the bar is going that way, and this sternum is going that way on my inhale as I'm prepping. And now let's crush this thing. Yeah. Same thing with the squat. Like, I'm gonna feel this sternum grow forward, and then as I'm squatting, the sternum is my guidepost for the activity itself. Like, it never really changes that much. Like, all this weight's trying to make my sternum change its orientation, but
crush it.
Not going to push me around today.
Yeah.
So,
I love it.
The idea is of not losing your height is quite tangible, and I think a lot of people will be able to at least practice doing that, because that will probably be the biggest thing. Sternum drops. Sternum drops. We flex.
Because people are like, "Oh, I'm doing a great job." Like, see, I exhaled. You know, like, that's the worst. Like, no, that's not what we're looking for here. Yeah. So it is these little tiny adjustments, but overall, I really like kind of what you were saying with, like, you know what the right shape is. Breathe your way through that without really changing shape.
In either exhalation or inhalation.
Just feel it kind of like that. Yeah. You know, and I think that's really the difference.
Cool. So obviously that's the end of the video. Thank you for going through all of this. Where can people find you? And what have you got out there in the interwebs?
Yeah, I think the easiest place right now anyways is probably actually my Instagram page. Yep. Like, that's gonna, I'll be able to get back to you if you send me a message through there. I post a lot of stuff in there. I kind of put a lot of my activity in there as well. You know, I'm currently doing a presentation called Rethinking the Big Patterns. I'm writing a book that corresponds with that. I've got a couple of books that I've previously written, Mass and Mass 2, that are kind of like
training programs,
and they have a lot of physiological explanation for what's happening in there that corresponds.
Definitely. If you're after a vomit workout, get on those.
That's it. It's really not specific. It's not a powerlifting specific program. It was something that was originally written for, Mass 1 was originally written for a kid that was starting off resistance training, who was a former college cross-country runner. So it's a really good basic beginner kind of program.
If you just want to get after it, I reckon that's what, definitely.
It'll teach you how to work hard.
It will for sure do that. And Mass 2 is more of a well-rounded program for someone that's a little bit more of an intermediate to advanced type of a person.
And we'll link all of that in the description box, obviously. So we're actually, Will and I are off to Rethinking the Big Patterns in Arizona in a couple of weeks, and we will do a video of a recap of that. So look out for that as well. But thank you very much for coming on.
Criticism.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
Love it.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you.